Hello, my friends. Jeff, Tax Rescue CPA. Are you overpaying the IRS? Well, if you're a sole proprietor or small business and you haven't switched to an S-Corp, you're leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single tax year. How's this work? Well, an S-Corp allows you to legally avoid a huge chunk of self-employment tax while still enjoying pass-through taxation. Let's break this down, and I'm going to show you how this works, how to do it, and who it best fits for. All right, first, what's the problem? Why are you overpaying in taxes? Well, as a sole proprietor, small business, single-member LLC, 100% of your income is subject to self-employment tax, 15.3%. So let's say on $120,000 worth of income, 15.3% is $18,360. That's a huge chunk of change right there. So how is an S-Corp going to save you money? Well, the S-Corp is going to allow you to split your income into two parts. The first part is you're going to pay yourself a reasonable salary. Now, this salary is going to be subject to payroll taxes, that's 15.3%. But the second part, you're going to take that out as distributions, and distributions are not subject to self-employment or payroll taxes. So let's take an example of this. Let's go back to our $120,000 worth of profit. If this profit is in an S-Corp and you pay yourself, let's take half of it. You pay yourself $60,000 of salary and you take the other $60,000 out as distributions. That second $60,000 of distributions is not going to be subject to the 15.3%, and that's going to save you over $9,000 in taxes. That helps. So who should consider an S-Corp? Well, first of all, you've got to be at a level with your business where you're earning about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of profit a year. And then you need to be able to handle or willing to handle additional paperwork and filing requirements. Because for an S-Corp, you're going to need to do some real accounting. You're going to have to process payroll and all the filings that go along with that. And you're going to have to file an S-Corp return every year for the business, separate from your personal filing. So let's talk about how you set up one of these S-Corps. Well, let's go back a second though. Those additional requirements I told you about, how much do you think those are going to cost when you can save $9,000 worth of taxes, huh? A lot less. All right, do the math. It works out. Okay, so let's talk about steps to setting up your S-Corp. First, you're going to need to form an LLC or a corporation at the state level if you haven't already. You may already have an LLC set up, in which case you're in good shape. Jump to step 2. You're going to elect S-Corp status by filing Form 2553 with the IRS. This is where you tell the IRS that I want my business taxed as an S-Corp. Step 3 is you need to set up payroll and start paying yourself regularly and consistently. Step 4 is you need to separate your business and your personal finances. Now, you may already be doing this, but if not, you need to get real because you need to keep the S-Corp separate. So you need to do separate accounting. You need to have a separate business account, which you can get using your setup LLC or corporate identification from the Secretary of State, the tax ID number from the feds. Not a big deal, but you need to have separate accounting and records. And then the last thing is you need to file the S-Corp tax return. This is Form 1120S. This needs to be filed every year before you file your personal income tax return because the 1120S will give you a K-1 form that you'll then report on your 1040. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. I like taxes, what can I say? Getting ahead of myself, but you need to do that. Now, one little side note or warning or pitfall with this is there is a relatively large penalty for late filing an S-Corp return. So be sure when you do this that you're ready to file the return and that you follow through on that, because if you come back years later and say, oh, I need to file my S-Corp return, penalties are going to be expensive. So where does this leave us? Well, an S-Corp is really a huge tax saver. Even with the additional administrative work, you can end up with saving thousands and thousands of dollars year after year after year, and it just compounds and the savings go up. You need to make sure you set this up properly and that you ensure compliance with all of the steps and the legal requirements and the tax requirements with this S-Corp structure. If you need any help, we can analyze your situation and determine if this would really work for you and if you could save thousands of taxes. Reach out to us, Tax Rescue CPA, who's saving you taxes.